Tough L for the Saints last night. If you want New Orleans to clean house, which I'm sure most of you do, go down Spam F in the comment section. I'm Will Scott. Welcome in to New Orleans Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to be joined by producer Trace Gerard here shortly. And look, I think we're all still reacting to what the hell just happened last night. The Saints are up by 13 points with a little over 3 minutes to go. They lose the game 17-16. With the win, they would have been very much in the mix for the NFC South title. But now with the loss, we can pretty much kiss the Saints' playoff hopes goodbye, which I think means that Dennis Allen should very much be on the hot seat. So we're going to talk about some Saints head coaching candidates. We begin with the Eagles offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen. Eagles have one of the best offenses in the league. They've only lost one game this year. There's some buzz around Steichen being a head coaching candidate, Trace.
Yeah, and my big thing that I'm a fan of is I really like how well the Eagles offense has improved from this season versus last season. I mean, if you take a look at the progression and the display of growth that Jalen Hurts has had this season, it's pretty impressive.
For sure.
You look from 2020 to 2021 to 2022. It's steady and consistent growth. And that right there is extremely, extremely impressive and just goes to show how smart of a coach Shane Steichen is.
And you can make the argument that when you look at what he's done with Hurts, the Saints might have a rookie quarterback that they draft in the second round.
Exactly.
He can kind of mold him as well.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But his resume is also pretty impressive. I mean, it's pretty lengthy. He's got some quality experience in the NFL, some experience in college football, and it's the Chargers' offense has been good for a few years now. Shane Steichen is a quality coach, and he's a very smart coach, and he's somebody that I very much so wanted to see the Saints explore.
I agree, and he's certainly someone that's going to get some interest by teams that have a vacancy. Will the Saints have one? We'll have to wait and see. This is what The Athletic said about him. In 2 seasons as Nick Sirianni's offensive coordinator and play caller, Steichen has been instrumental in the development of Jalen Hurts and the improved effectiveness and explosiveness of the Eagles' offense. Philadelphia is ranked 4th in yards and 3rd in points. What else do you think about this guy?
Kind of what you were saying about how, he developed Jalen Hurts and the Saints might need a quarterback this offseason. They definitely need a quarterback long-term, and the draft is somewhere you can go and get a young quarterback.
Jalen Hurts was 2nd-round pick, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love how well Shane Steichen works with young talent. If you look at the Eagles, they have A.J. Brown, who's still somewhat young. You have Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, who's not young, but he's not old. You have Jalen Hurts and a young quarterback. You have a lot of pieces that are inexperienced, but he's getting the most out of them. And that alone is why I think the Saints should at least call. I mean, it's not even at least call. You got to make something happen here. You got to go after him, and you got to be aggressive with this coaching search. It's going to be unacceptable if you just stand by and do nothing.
I want to know from y'all down in the comment section, who is to blame for the issues this season? Is it Dennis Allen? Is it Andy Dalton? Is it Mickey Loomis? Go down in the comment section and let me know. I know the injuries have been a factor, but for me, it's got to be Dennis Allen. Let's talk about my personal favorite name here on this list. That is Demeco Ryans. I grew up watching this guy play for the Houston Texans. He's a great player. He's become arguably an even better coach. The 49ers have arguably the best defense in the NFL. You saw how they slowed down a Dolphins offense that looked unstoppable the last 2 months or so. He elected to stay in San Francisco last season, even though he got some head coach interest, and I think that he would bring a lot of leadership and positive energy to the New Orleans Saints. He is someone that I really like here. And the reason why I'm a big fan of Demeco Ryans is kind of what Trace mentioned here in this note, is the leadership and energy that he would bring to the team. You can see, watching the 49ers defense, that they really play for him. I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do over there in San Francisco. Saints Now is brought to you by Fetch, the free app that allows you to scan your receipts, turn those into points, and then you can redeem those points for gift cards to your favorite stores, restaurants, and online retailers. It's super easy to use. Take a look at this video we're about to show you, but all you got to do, open the app, snap a photo of your receipts from purchase from any store, or click the e-receipt option, and Fetch can connect to your Amazon account, and you'll earn points for all shipped orders. Plus, connect your email to earn points for every e-receipt you receive from Uber, Instacart, or any purchase you make online. Those points then can be redeemed for gift cards at your favorite stores and restaurants. Fetch is available on iPhone and Android. Use our link, chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT and sign up for 5,000 points, which is the equivalent to a $5 gift card or halfway to a $10 gift card. It's free. 5,000 points, though, only available for a limited time. Go and take advantage. Chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT for those bonus points. Going back to Demeco Ryans, he has been with the 49ers pretty much his entire coaching career. Was the defensive quality control coach in 2017, then the inside linebackers coach, and then he's been the DC the last 2 seasons. Let's take a look at what he said here about the job that he's done. I can easily harp on all the negative things, the plays that we didn't make or beat guys up, but that's not going to allow those guys to come back and be confident and make the plays they're supposed to make. So it's always, for me, it's always positive energy. No energy vampires allowed. Hey, Trace, you know what I'd like to say? Good vibes only. Feels like Demeco is right there with me there.
Dude, like, how could you not love that? That is, like, exactly what I want in a head coach. That is exactly the leadership and the energy and the communication that a head coach should be having with his players. Yes, you got to give them some tough love. You got to lay in on them every once in a while. But at the end of the day, it's a game. You're having fun. And if you're not having fun doing it, you're not producing quality output and quality gameplay. And Demeco Ryans, he's going to be a head coach next season. The Niners aren't going to be able to keep him. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind. He's a baller. He's a great coach. And I think he would be a great cultural fit in New Orleans. I think the Saints need somebody to right the ship, and what better guy than Demeco Ryans, if you ask me. I don't know.
He's number one for me. He's number one for me on this list. You look at the job that he's done with San Francisco, and I understand a lot of Saints fans might prefer to bring in an offensive-minded coach because DA was a defensive-minded coach. Here's the difference. I think Demeco Ryans would actually be a good head coach.
I couldn't agree more. Agree more.
Right. Let's talk about Eric Bieneimy now, who was the runner-up for that job last season. DA beating him out for the job, and he's been linked to a lot of different head coach openings and just hasn't gotten an opportunity yet. I do believe that he deserves an opportunity. He's obviously done a fantastic job as the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. He's been in that role since 2018. I mentioned that he was very much in the mix for the Saints gig last year. He spent 8 hours interviewing with the Saints last offseason. Taking a look at the resume, go Buffs. Deion Sanders, I'm sure he's fired up about that, having coached at Colorado, was the OC in 2011-2012, then joined the Chiefs, where he's the running backs coach for 5 seasons. Now he's been the offense coordinator for 5 seasons, so he's been an assistant coach in the NFL for a long time and just has not gotten a head coaching gig. Maybe he gets one this cycle. LaShawn McCoy said this about him. There's a reason why every year they keep hyping him up to get a head coaching job or an offensive coordinator job somewhere else, and he don't get one. He talks to players a certain way, and some players would take it. I wouldn't take it. So that's interesting, Trace.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is interesting to see, like, there's been kind of some buzz even this season, Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieneimy butting heads on the sideline, but Andy Reid on multiple occasions has come out and defended Eric Bieneimy, saying high-profile players that are a little bit out of their prime, they don't necessarily like getting told what to do, might be one of those situations. I mean, it is kind of hard to ignore 14 interviews and he isn't a head coach.
But
that's
like,
weird.
It's weird. The way he talks to players, there's no way that's preventing him from getting a job.
No, that's not it at all. That's not it at all. I mean, there's something. I know he had some issues with like a DUI or something in his past.
I think it was a very long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's years and years and years ago. So it's like, I don't know what it is. I will say, if you're Eric Bieneimy and you are kind of set up to be the head coach long term with Patrick Mahomes after Andy Reid leaves, why would you want to leave? You know, so like there is that. Does he want to leave Kansas City because he has a great offense there?
I think at this point he would take the first gig. Look, maybe he's been offered a gig. We don't know.
Yeah.
But he's interviewed 14 times, hasn't gotten a gig. So I feel like at this point, He was really interested in the Saints gig. I think he wanted that bad, and I think that he would have done a much better job than Dennis Allen's doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious as to what it was that prevented, an 8-hour meeting from resulting in something coming to fruition. But never going to know. We're not going to know. They're not going to tell us. So that's just how you just kind of have to play the guessing game.
You have a chance to get it right and hire him this time around if there's no thing that occurs.
Don't mess up, please.
Should
Mickey.
the Saints hire Eric Bieneimy? Type H for hire or type P for pass down in the comment section. Go down, let me know what you think the Saints should do. It is the pinned comment. Reply to it when you get a second. Let's talk about Dan Quinn. I'd be shocked, and I mean shocked, if he doesn't get a head coaching job this cycle. Cowboys would likely have to make him the head coach just to keep him, which I don't think they will because Mike McCarthy's actually done a pretty good job there. Had multiple interviews last offseason. He has a winning record as a head coach in the league. Led the Falcons to a Super Bowl appearance when he was the head coach in Atlanta. As we do take a look at the resume here, he was the DC for the Legion of Boom in Seattle, then was the head coach in Atlanta for 6 seasons. Led the Falcons to the Super Bowl in the 2016 season.
28-3.
Yes, you beat me to the punch. You beat me to the punch, producer Trace. Been the DC in Dallas the last 2 seasons. Here's what The Athletic says about Dan Quinn, who I'm not as high on him as I am some other guys, but here's what The Athletic said. Quinn, 52, has 19 years of NFL coaching experience, including 6 as a head coach and 4 as a coordinator. His Cowboys unit ranks 6th in points allowed, 11th in total yards, and 1st in sacks. Quinn went 43-42 as a head coach in Atlanta with a Super Bowl appearance in year 2. If you want the Saints to make some changes, like the video. Ooh, there's my thumb. Hit the thumbs up icon. Like the video down below if you think the Saints need to move on from Dennis Allen or at the very least make some changes amongst this staff. Let's stay with the Cowboys here. Kellen Moore. Could he be a possible name here? He obviously is a sharp offensive mind. Played in the NFL for a little bit. And has certainly done a good job with the quarterbacks over there in Dallas, Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. Mentioned how Eric Bieneimy was the runner-up for the Saints job last season. You might not know this, Trace. Guess what job Kellen Moore was the runner-up for? That'd be the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it was between Mike McDaniel and Kellen Moore, and I believe the Dolphins made the right decision.
I think so.
Going with Mike McDaniel, but still, Kellen Moore might be a decent option here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing here is you need somebody who can develop a quarterback and can pull a lot of talent out of their quarterback and out of a young quarterback. I mean, you have Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush on that Cowboys depth chart for the quarterbacks, and Kellen Moore's done a great job, especially when Dak was hurt, getting Cooper Rush to perform well and play well for multiple weeks. It wasn't just like, he came in at the half and then, finished out the game. No, he played good for a couple weeks, in a row. And so I think Kellen Moore is somebody that could develop a young quarterback who can maybe help with some young talent. He is fresh out of being a backup quarterback. I mean, we can take a look at his resume real fast. He doesn't have an extensive coaching.
He could be head coach / quarterback if you bring him in.
I mean,
he'd be better than Andy Dalton.
I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, he's got real in-game experience in his recent experience. He knows how to be a coach. He was the quarterback's coach in 2018. Automatically got bumped up to offensive coordinator 2 years after leaving the NFL as a player. So that's just impressive. That's impressive to show. He knows the game of football. He's sharp. He's smart, and he has a good high football IQ.
Take a look at this, Josh McCown. You can't go straight from a backup QB to a head coach in the NFL. You got to put in your time in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing here, got to be smart. Changes have to be made somewhere, whether it's offensive coordinator, whether it's head coach, whether it's position coaches.
Right.
Mickey Loomis cannot screw this up. And here's another thing. I think depending on how this offseason goes, I think Saints fans have to be very realistic and take a look in the mirror and say maybe the issue isn't coaching. Maybe it might be the general manager. At some point you have to look at upper management. I think this is the offseason. If you don't see not drastic, but if you don't see changes and if you don't see things getting better,
here's my thing. Here's my thing when you're talking about making a coaching change. If this was Dennis Allen's first season as an NFL head coach, I feel a little bit better about the situation.
Absolutely.
He's still learning. Give him a second year, but he failed as a head coach with the then Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, and
I might be ready to move on.
I think I am as well. I don't think that – the only thing that stinks is Mickey Loomis and DA are buddies. So I'm like, you can't –
I'd be stunned if he got fired.
buddy.
I'd be stunned if I got fired.
Yeah.
But if he did, we certainly gave y'all some interesting names here, some good candidates for the job.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to hear from y'all. Who is your top head coaching candidate? Is it Demeco Ryans? Is it Kellen Moore? Is it someone not on our list? Go down. Let me know. Who is your top head coaching candidate? For me, it's Demeco. Who's yours?
I got to go either Demeco or Shane Steichen. I
yeah.
love those two. See you guys.